What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, I'm going to react to a video of Piers Morgan and LGBTQ activists debating should athletes have to wear rainbow colors to support Pride Month and things of that nature. But before we do that, let me give you a word from Promo Palace. Biz.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
That's right. You heard the beautiful lady. If you need online marketing promotions, please check us out. Promopalace.biz, one-stop shop to promote your music, product, brand, or your service. All right, let's get into it. Whoa, what's going on here? Come on, play.
Rights and campaigns for equality. It's now more about ad campaigns celebrating righteous brands in places where equality often already exists, from burgers to banks, machines to Marines. Yes, bullets apparently are now gay. Everybody wants to know it's okay to be gay, which of course it is, except of course where it's not. Big brands love to signal their virtue in English-speaking countries where gay rights have been hard fought and hard earned, but not so keen to do it in the Middle East, for example, where it's often illegal and punishable by death. They don't really care about LGBTQ or U. The only pride a lot of these corporations seem to have is in their quarterly earnings report. World football's governing body, FIFA, for example, is flying the rainbow flag at its headquarters a few months before it flies the game's superstars to the World Cup in Qatar, where gay people are flogged or killed. And it seems nobody's more keen to show you they're along for the pride than professional sports teams, whether the players like it or not. Paris Saint-Germain footballer Idrissa Gueye sat out a recent game because the rest of his team were wearing rainbow emblazoned jerseys. He's a Muslim from Senegal, where being gay can land you in jail. And
yeah, and you know what? For people that sit there and got mad because the hockey players cited religious reasons and that they were Christians, I can tell you right now, Muslims they ain't going with this. They ain't playing this far worse. Like, they are way more strict when it comes to the LGBTQ community. So, yeah, man, stop like overselling. Like, oh, this guy using religion and Christianity. I'm gonna tell you right now, Muslims ain't having it.
Bay Rays players in America this week refused to wear uniforms with LGBT rainbow logos for Pride Month, citing their right to make a personal choice. I would argue they have that right. It should be a personal choice, as should all social or political gestures. We shouldn't be shaming or abusing any sports people, frankly,
No, we
who
shouldn't.
don't want to participate in this kind of thing. But that's just my view. Joining me to discuss all this is bisexual activist and writer Lewis Oakley, along with restaurant Fox News contributor Tyrus. Welcome to you both. So let me start with you, Lewis. Here's my issue about this. I don't think anybody should be forced to signal their virtue if they don't wish to. And yet we're seeing more and more pressure now being applied, both by sporting teams and associations. We're seeing it applied by social media, the court of public opinion, to say, if you don't do this, then you are a bigot and you should be shamed. What's your view?
Well, yeah, I totally agree. We shouldn't force people to wear things and support things publicly that they don't support. It's fine. Obviously, that comes down to, well, if you're not going to take the knee, if you're not going to wear these laces, what does this say about you? And I think that's where we need to have a conversation.
Why should it say anything about you? I mean, for example, there are black footballers who don't want to take the knee anymore. They think it's sort of lost its steam.
Let me stop for a second. Why should it say something? Why can't it just say, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not interested in that. just because I accept something doesn't mean I have to support it. Why can't it just say that? But no, they want to throw these labels on and act like it says that you're a homophobe or a transphobe, which is horseshit. It's complete bullshit. You know, because a phobia is a fear. It's a fear. I had a gay neighbor one time. I wasn't afraid to have a conversation with him and talk to him. But do I got to go out in the streets and march with him to support something that he supports? I might accept it, but it doesn't mean I have to support it. Well, yeah, it shouldn't have to say nothing about you just because you don't support something that somebody else wants to support. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Impact. If they should be allowed to say, I'm not going to do it, why shouldn't a white player, without you making the insinuation, well, it says something about you if you don't?
Well, this is the thing. I don't think if you're not going to take the knee, or if you're not going to wear the laces, it means you're a bad person. I just think it means, okay, well, there's a conversation to be had. There are many reasons why someone...
No, there's no conversation to be had. The conversation is, I accept it. I don't support it. Nothing more to discuss. I don't have to go marching in the streets waving rainbow flags. I don't have to throw on a rainbow flag Dizzle shirt. You know, like, I don't have to do that. Just because I accept it doesn't mean I have to support it. There's no conversation to have past that. There's nothing more to talk about. But that's the thing. They want to make something out of nothing.
One would not want to wear rainbow laces or wear the pride thing. But we have to ask why. Like, what is it?
No,
is it
you
that
don't have to ask why.
Hate the gays, you don't want to see them around? Or is it that you think it's woke gone mad? Whatever it is.
First of all, it's none of your business why somebody doesn't want to support nothing. Why does society feel like they have to infringe on everybody's thoughts and views, and which is their business? Their personal thoughts and views is their personal business. There's no conversation to have. There's nothing more to discuss. There's nothing to think about. It's just you gotta feel better about yourself. That's all this is. You gotta feel better about yourself by punching down on people or something. I don't know, because there's nothing more to discuss. It's simple as, I accept it, but I don't support it. Nothing more to talk about.
But that's where the issue is, because we still have to come back to the reason this is being done, right? The reason this is being done is because we still don't have any out Premier League footballers. It's still got that stigma of homophobia in it. And we're just kind of saying, look, how can we kind of make up for this? This has historically been somewhere where gays were not wanted or bisexuals were not wanted.
I think it's a perfectly valid point. Tyrus, I mean, I think that I would be completely...
Just because gays and bisexuals are not wanted by straight people doesn't mean they weren't wanted. This idea that we have to force... are we forcing gays to be straight? No, we're not. We're not forcing gays to be straight. So you don't get to force straight people to have to accept being gay. We're not... Do we got gay people going out there and waving flags to be proud to be straight? No, like this is such a one-way street, man. Like, what the hell, man?
Supportive of a lot of these issues, but I don't like the pressure that's now being applied, for example, to these Tampa Bay Rays players, this sort of outrage over their disinclination to signal their virtue for pride. They should be allowed not to if they don't want to, shouldn't they?
Well, they should, and to what we need to get back to having two thoughts on one subject. I think you can be completely supportive of Gay Pride Month and not necessarily have to wear a banner flag for it. During Black History Month in the United States, I don't expect my white friends to acknowledge my blackness every day. But at the same time, it's about equality. When you receive equality, you can also say, while I respect you, I differ in opinion, or I just choose for no other reason than I don't want to celebrate it.
Right.
It doesn't mean you can't acknowledge it. It can't mean you can't appreciate it. I think the problem is whenever somebody doesn't acknowledge it, we allow the mainstream media to think that there can only be one way. You either...
what I just say before he started talking, it's a one-way street. It's a one-way street. I agree with everything Tyrus just said. Like, you could support it without having to go out there and march. And you could donate to. People could donate money to it. They don't have there's many ways to support things. There's not, like he said, this one way. It's just this one way, one-sided mentality.
You're either pro-gay or you're not.
Right.
And that's not true. You can support it. And I think what the Tampa Bay baseball player eloquently said was, although he supports and he has no issues with them, his religious beliefs are what they are. And we have to respect that. Just like.
And guess what? I'm sorry. Are they? One of the guys says he's Russian Orthodox. I don't see, gays having a march and support Russian Orthodox Christians or Catholics. They're not being forced to have to go to church and believe in religion. And this is the thing, man. Like, this is the problem I have with it. Because they attach the transgender to this. I don't think transgender should be attached to lesbians, gays, homosexuals. I think those are different. Those are should be in their own alphabet. Because transgenderism is a delusion. And like they said, it's a dysphoria, it's a delusion. And so is religion, to a sense. There's a lot of believing in make-believe. And so you want to force people to believe in your make-believe bullshit with this transgenderism. But soon as somebody cites their make-believe religion, because it's man-made, it's not God-made, it's not, Moses didn't part the Red Seas, there was no virgin birth unless we're talking about artificial insemination. Adam and Eve wasn't created as freaking old enough to procreate. There's just too much make-believe in the Bible. So you can't get mad at him when he wants to cite that he believes in his make-believe, because you don't want to believe in something that you've attached make-believe to. Because being gay is just a physical, mental, emotional attraction to the same sex. Transgenderism is you identifying whatever the fuck you want to. You wake up tomorrow and you want to identify as a raccoon, and the next day is a possum, and the next day is a zebra. It's make-believe fairy tales. So it's kind of like really hypocritical for you to try to force your shit on somebody that you've attached make-believe bullshit to, because there used to not be no transgenderism attached to the LGBT. It was just LGB. And then they attached the T to it. And that's when you attach the make-believe bullshit. And religion is really make-believe bullshit too, except the morals in religion, a lot of people in society agree with. A lot of people in society agree with the morals in religion, but I would argue that most of society would never agree with transgenderism, that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man, because it's not possible. It's make-believe. It's made up. And that's the problem I have with it. It's like, you don't get to force people to support your movement that you've attached make-believe bullshit to, and they get mad when somebody says they don't want to support your make-believe bullshit and cite their own make-believe bullshit. Because I'm not religious at all. I'm a laws of nature guy. But let's hear the last little bit what they got to say.
If someone says, listen, I don't think of mixing of the races as something I want to do in my household, but I don't have anything against black people as a whole. This is my personal choice. I don't have to like it. And I'm probably not going to have lunch with that guy. But
that's a great point, because there's that on both sides of the field. There's black people that don't want to mix the races. Dr. Umar, for example. There's a ton of people out there that think like him. There's tons of white people, the Aryan nations and KKKs that they don't want to mix races. Me personally, I think women of all races are beautiful. I think there's beautiful women in every single race or skin color of woman that you could possibly put in my face. And I also think there's ugly women in every single race of women too. That every woman is not beautiful. If that was the case, there would be no such thing as ugly bitches. Let's keep it moving.
I can respect it. It's about respect.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's not
remember
about
I actually
advantage
had quite a long debate actually with.
Before they finish, that's the thing. Like, I don't agree with like people who say they don't want to mix races, when they have kids or in relationships or anything. But like you said, I can respect it too. I can respect that that's their stance. That's how they believe, how they think. It doesn't necessarily see, and that's the thing. It's a double standard. Like if a white person says I don't want to mix races, they're called a racist. If black people does it, it's acceptable. It's a double standard. I think both are acceptable. Both are acceptable, as far as I'm concerned. And just like interracial relationships are acceptable. My sister is married to a Philippine. Her husband is from the Philippines. Cool guy, great guy. Love him to death, man. Let's keep it moving.
My sons, all in their 20s, when it was the Black Square Day on Instagram, where post George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests, it was a day when everyone was supposed to have a black square as their Instagram post, and that was all they would post all day. And I didn't go along with it because I didn't really think it would be that effective, and I just thought it was a bit of a sort of pointless virtue signaling. My sons got quite annoyed about it with me, and they were under pressure from their friends who'd seen I hadn't done it. And that just showed me really how insidious a lot of this pressure can be. Peer pressure, social media pressure, and corporate pressure to do these kind of things.
But I think it's a balance, right? Like it's about, yeah, you should not feel pressure to do anything. Don't support things you don't support. Actually, why would you want to say you support something if you don't, right? But at the same time, you're feeling a little bit of pressure there. Like, I feel a bit of
Actually,
pressure.
I wasn't feeling it. They were feeling it. And the point I was going to make with Tyrus was, for example, FIFA, who are putting on the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup, their statement actually said this on Twitter last week to celebrate Pride Month. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be a celebration of unity and diversity, a joining of people from all walks of life, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, age, disability, sex characteristics, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression. Everyone will be welcome. And they followed up with another statement about pride. But the problem with all this is they've sold the World Cup rights to the country of Qatar, where it is illegal to be gay.
Well, and that's the same problem that every group that's recognized has. Nobody is more important or more powerful than that mighty dollar. And that dollar makes a lot of corporations turn the other way, and they try to set up fights in other places for us to. Let me take a perfect example, and I'm gonna take race and sexuality out of it for a minute. Just people's perceptions. Mr. Morgan, I saw you this weekend on TV, and you were there with the great Sharon Osbourne. I was so happy to see her back on TV again. The perception of her is horrible, right? But I know from personal experience, when I was a bodyguard for Snoop, we shared the same apartment building as her daughter. And me and 4 of the largest brothers you've ever seen had to sit outside in the sun literally every day in June because there wasn't enough room in Snoop's apartment. Do you know who came up literally every other day bringing us water and food to the point where we're like, no,
right?
Mrs. Osborne, no more. Thank you, no more, no more. It was nighttime. Sometimes it'd be 12 o'clock at night, and she'd be walking, asking if we wanted or needed anything. There was no cameras on, but the perception was one thing, and she didn't have to broadcast her support. And she didn't care what color we were. She just saw 4 big, hungry, hot men who just happened to be black that she took care of.
You know what,
to
Tyrus?
the point where we would be like, so much.
One word has
And
shone
that's
out to
what
me
we
on
need to
that.
get
I think
to.
the word hot has shone out to me there, and that's probably why.
Yeah, I'm with Tyrus and Piers on this. Nobody should be pressured to doing anything that they don't support or believe in. And you know, I said something the other day. I honestly feel like the reason they're pushing the gay rights and transgender rights so much is so they could push civil rights to the back burner. They could push it to the back burner. They can you know, they can act like they care about all these rights, but they right now they clearly care about transgenders and gay rights more than civil rights and probably the feminist movement. Like civil rights is just getting pushed back and overshadowed by all these movements because they keep attaching all these movements to civil rights movements, and they're not the same movements. Civil rights is a movement within its own, and feminist movement is a delusional movement because there's no gender pay gap because women are not willing to work every single job that men are willing to work. That's why there's not no gender pay gap. It's horseshit. It's bullshit. They only want equal opportunity and equality in the easiest jobs. They don't want it in landscaping, carpeting, electricity, plumbing, building houses, laying bricks, paving roads. You don't see hardly any women doing any of those jobs. But yeah, I'm not with this sports. I think hockey's kind of backed off from this because star players are like, nah, dog, we can I do it? I'm not gonna be able to do it, man. And I'm not gonna be able to do it either. I can't support something that I don't support. I accept it. It's part of society. It is what it is. But you can't make me go and wave a flag. I'm sorry. I'm not even a patriotic dude. I'm not even waving no American flags around. So, you know, I could care about less about waving some flags. Get out of here with that shit. Once again, I'm thank you for tuning in, Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.